Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another Buzzing Chat Show here on Buzzing Pattaya, and to today's discussion, and that is, what's the dangers, guys, of taking a girl for more than 3 days out of a bar and spending time with her? And I wanted to talk about this because it's been quite a common topic in Discord. Had a few people saying, oh, what do I do if I want to do this, and what's the expectations, how will it all unfold? So I thought, well, what we'll do is let's throw it out there. I'm really looking forward to your comments. I'm sure many of you guys have done that, and the scenario that we're going to talk about in a minute. So I'd love to see your experiences or read about what you've got up to or how it panned out, and did it last forever? Did it become a car crash? What was the situation if you decided to do a long stay with a girl rather than the short stay that we often recommend? Before we get into that, guys, please have a look on Discord. I just made mention to it. There is a link in the description below. Have a look there. Join. There's 11,300 and something members now. It really is going from strength to strength, and definitely a good platform if you're seeking advice or you want to share your experience and share your knowledge. Everyone's welcome. All right, as always, I'm going to throw some overlays over the top. You don't want to sit here staring at me, so I will throw some random footage over the top while we discuss today's question, and that is, what are the dangers? What are the things that could possibly go wrong if you decide to take a girl out of a bar and spend maybe, say, 7 days or 10 days or 2 weeks or your entire vacation? What are the possible problems that may occur? All right, so let's paint the picture. You get here, it's your first time here, you've never been here before, you're trying to find your feet, you're going out and you're trying to figure out what this place is all about. And of course, you go into a bar, and let's be honest, you are going to be greeted many times by beautiful and stunning girls. That's a given. And of course, being human, being Mother Nature, you look around and think, wow, she's so pretty, oh, she looks amazing. You're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions. But that's the problem, is that because we are roller coaster in our emotions, we make decisions based on instantaneous decision making. In other words, you see a girl and think, oh my God, this girl's amazing, I want to spend my time with her. And so of course, she's ticked all your boxes, and therefore you make the decision to pay the bar fine, and away you go. And let's just say you have one evening and it's fantastic, it's great fun, you have a great time, and in the morning you think, do you know what, I really enjoyed myself, I'd rather you stayed than left. And you then get into the compromising position where you decide to say to yourself and to her, hey, how about staying for a few more days? And whilst on the outset that seems a really good idea, and it seems a situation, well, what could possibly go wrong? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm sure people in the comments here will share their experiences of what could possibly go wrong. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to go back to the said bar. You need to speak to the mama and say, hey, look, I want to take this girl with me for 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, whatever it is you're deciding, and you need to pay your bar fine. And of course, you need to negotiate and agree with the said girl as to what she will be expecting financially, because remember, guys, as much as it may hurt you to hear this, this is business. Now, once you've decided to take the girl, there are things that I think you maybe are going to overlook or maybe ignore that I think are very important that you should think about before making that decision. And guys that have done this, I'm sure, will agree with me. So the first things first, remember, we're a totally different animal in terms of the way we've been brought up and the westernization that we've been put through to how they are here in Thailand. So for example, Thai girls will think absolutely nothing of sleeping all day. It's part and par for the course. They will enjoy sleeping, they love sleeping. I love Thai people, I'm not being derogatory when I say this, but they can sleep stood up. They really do enjoy their sleep, and that's fine, that's good to them. But if you're regimented, if you're organised, where you like to get up in the morning, say 8 o'clock or 7 or early if you're even early, or 9 o'clock, whatever time you set, forget thinking that your said newfound love of your life is going to do the same. And trust me, and guys will agree with me that have been in this scenario, there's nothing worse than waking up a Thai girl from her sleep. Trust me, you are going to have no conversation. She will ignore you for hours until she's prepared to wake up mentally, not physically. She could well possibly be in an hump with you and have a bit of a sad on for the day, and there's nothing worse than that. And it's only because you're thinking, well, this is my holiday, I want to go out and spend my time and do things, and I don't want you to lay in bed all day. Come on, you're with me now, let's go out and have fun. Guys, it doesn't work like that. It can do, but it's very rare. Secondly is you know, without being derogatory, again, Thai people are always hungry. My missus, you know, I love her to bits, she's my world, but she can eat 6-7 times a day, no dramas whatsoever. And, you know, again, if you found this newfound love of your life and she's there saying to you, oh, Tilak, I'm hungry, and you're thinking, well, I only eat breakfast and evening meal, and now suddenly we're going to sit in a restaurant 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, it can get a little bit tiresome. But that is their nature. Thai people like to eat a little, but eat a lot, eat a little and eat often. So be prepared to every time you walk past a food cart or a food stall or a restaurant, that your newfound love may well say to you, darling, can we go and eat please? And you're thinking, really? And, you know, once you've done that, remember about going out. You know, notoriously, Thai people, we have a thing here called there is no time like Thai time. In other words, forget your plans. Forget saying to her, I want you ready at 6 o'clock in the evening, or I want to go out at 10 o'clock this morning. That is not going to happen, guys. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's the fact of the matter is that there is no such time as Thai time. So be prepared to be late. Now, I'm ex-regimented, I'm ex-army, so for me, lateness doesn't exist. And for those of you that have been working in the, you know, the corporate world, you know, we just know that lateness doesn't exist, but out here it does, and that may well frustrate you. So as well as that, also one of the things you're going to get is, if you base this relationship like it is back in your home country, generally speaking, if you said to your girlfriend back home or your wife, all right, so we've got a day off today, sweetheart, what do you fancy doing? She will have an idea. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's go and do this. One of the most frustrating parts of living out here and being in a relationship, or be it long-term, short-term, whatever term, is when you say to a Thai girl, hey, what do you fancy doing today? She's going to say, up to you. And you're going to hear that 100 times. What do you want to eat? Up to you. Where do you want to go today? Up to you. What do you want to do tonight? Up to you. Should we go into this bar? Up to you. It's just the nature of the game. And the reason being, and I'll tell you the reason they say this, is from her side of things, this is a business deal. So what she doesn't want to do is say to you, hey, let's go here, and you don't have a good time, because ultimately you're the person paying for it. So she won't make that decision because she's frightened that if she gets it wrong, you're going to be upset, and then she has effectively ruined your day. So when you make a decision, you don't ask, you say, right, today I'm going to go down the beach. Come on, let's go. And off you go, and you're going to have a great time. I want to go in this restaurant. You go in and you eat. Take the decision process away, because these kind of things will eventually niggle you. And if you think about it, you know, imagine being in a relationship where they sleep all day long. When they're awake, they're eating all day long. They're always late when you want to go out, and they won't make a decision. Now, all I'm saying to you guys is these are things that genuinely do happen. And if you're here on holiday and you've decided to spend a longer term with this girl because you know physically and visually she ticks all your boxes, you may find later on down the road you're in a bit of a situation. You're thinking, what on earth have I done? So just bear that in mind, guys. The next thing, jealousy. Now, it's all well and good finding a girl and you go off for the evening and it's the first time you've met her. That's neither here nor there. That's just part and package of the fun. But if you start taking a girl for a long time, like 7 days, 10 days, ultimately she will eventually start to think, well, hang on, is this possibly the person that's going to take me away from the situation we're in here, and I'm going to live happily ever after? And as you can imagine, she will become very protective over you in terms of being jealous. So you walk into a bar and you see another girl and you think, oh, she's nice, you smile at her. Trust me, the jealous radar will be working overload. They will pick up on it. She will be upset. She will be disappointed. She won't like it. You know, you go into another bar or a club, she's going to be on you like a ton of bricks to make sure that her newfound possible love of her ATM life is going to be there for her and not be wandering around. So again, you know, it goes back to the whole thing is, at the moment it's fun, but if you start to build a relationship, and I know it's only 5 or 6 days or a week or whatever, emotions start to get involved, and these girls, you know, they will be looking at you thinking, maybe, just maybe, this guy is the guy for me that's going to take me away from this, and I'm going to go back home and I'm going to live happily ever after. And you can't blame them for thinking that. So again, you know, the downside of these long-term stays, these like 7-day, 10-day relationships or longer, is emotions do get involved. So be prepared. One thing to be fully aware of is once you take the girl with you and she's spending time with you, you are going to pay for everything. And I mean everything, as in you're going to be paying the bar fine, which you'll have already negotiated. You'll be agreed a set figure with her, which is going to be expected. But you're going to pay for all the food. You're going to pay for all the drinks. You may even, when you're walking around, you might get in a situation where she says, "Oh, sweetheart, you know, those shoes are nice," or "That's a nice handbag," or "That's a nice top." And you may wish to buy her those presents, and fair play to you if you do. But if you don't, remember at the early stages of this, we are talking about a business arrangement. So she will be testing the temperature of the water here, saying to you, "Sweetheart, you see those shoes? They're like 800 baht. Could you buy them for me?" Now, if you turn her down, in the back of her mind, she's thinking, well, hang on, like, can this guy genuinely afford it? And they will be working you out as much as you're trying to figure her out. And trust me, they'll work you out far quicker than what we can work them out. But also, as well, as if you start to become, I don't want to say the word cheap, Charlie, that's unfair, but if you start to reject the, can I have this, can I have that, ultimately, you might find she sulks. And it happens, guys. You know, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this stuff does happen. And of course, if she's sulking, and let's say you've had a good evening, and I know one of the street vendors on the motorbikes has ridden past, and she's asked to buy something, and you said no. Well, you might find when you get home, she's got a headache, or she's got stomach cramps, or maybe even it's that wrong time of the month, and it's a case of no, not happening. Go to bed, go to sleep. Sorry, that's the way it is. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how it is, and you have to be aware that, you know, this is initially a business arrangement. So if emotions are starting to get involved, then they're going to work you out and figure out what's going on, and you might find yourself in that situation. The other side of the coin is from your perspective. You know, you may find yourself regretting your decision, because let's face it, you know, you've come into a bar, you've met this girl. She appears to be amazing on the outside, you know, she's ticking all your boxes, and you think to yourself, do you know what, I'm ready to rock and roll here, let's do this. I don't want to meet another girl, I'm more than happy what I found, and I want to spend my time, my holiday, my 2 weeks holiday with that said girl. There is no worse feeling in the world, no more gut-wrenching feeling in the world than walking into another bar or another club or wherever you may or may not be, and looking across and seeing somebody that you're thinking, holy jamoly, look at that incredibly stunning woman stood over there. Because you've got no chance whatsoever of going over and initiating contact if you've got the said love of your life strapped to your side. She is not going to have that. I would say, I mean, I know some of you are probably sitting there going, well, actually, you know, never say never. I know what you're saying, but it goes back to my earlier statement about jealousy. And then you're now in a situation of regret, because you're going to think to yourself, what on earth did I do this for? Why am I stood here with this girl now when I'm looking across and there's another girl, and they may initiate contact with you, they might look at you and smile, you know, all those kind of things happen, and you're stood there going, what a dick, I've made a right mistake here. And you've got no get out of jail card. You know, the only thing you could do is maybe go back home and say, I'm just going to nip down to 7-Eleven. It just ain't going to happen, guys. You know, their radars are red hot. They're not going to be stupid. So there's nothing worse than having regrets because you jumped the gun too early and you've decided, do you know what, I'm going to do the long-term bar fine. Let's jump in with both feet, because ultimately, if later on down the road a new stunner comes in, and let's be honest, we are surrounded by stunning women literally every corner, you are going to be in a situation where you may well regret your decision. Likewise, as I mentioned earlier, you know, if you are very organized, you may well regret, and it might grind on you, the fact that, you know, she's always late, or she just wants to sleep, or she's like not making a decision. These things eat away at you long term. So I would really strongly suggest you you consider all your options before making the plunge. The other thing as well is, remember, we're talking about emotions here. So if you've now spent, say, a week with this girl, or maybe you spent longer, you know, whatever floats your boat. If you're in that situation and now emotions are involved, what are you going to do when it comes to saying goodbye? And it's going to be an extremely emotional situation, because A, she may well think far more into the relationship now than you are. B, You might be thinking, oh my Lord, what do I do? Do I start doing the whole sponsor routine? And we'll talk about that in a bit. And it's a very, very difficult scenario. If you're staying here for a long time, let's say you're staying here for 3 months and you decide to take a girl away with you for the week, well, when you go back to that said bar, kiss goodbye the opportunity of seeing any of the other girls there, because you are now taken. You are now her man, and when you walk into the bar, all the other girls will leave you alone because, number one, she will get jealous and that could cause friction between the girls. Number two, if you've taken her for 7 days and you come back in, why in the world would you think about taking somebody else? Because in her world and your world, you two are now connected. So emotions do run high, especially if you're going to break up and you're still staying here. So from her point of view, you know, it could be devastating that suddenly she's had a fantastic time with you and now you're going to leave her dry. It does happen, they do get used to it, but it's never nice no matter how many times it happens. You know, we are human beings at the end of the day and it's all about feelings. For your side of things, this is where it gets very dangerous. Because now you've spent 7 days or 10 days with this girl, and it's none of my business about your personal lifestyle back home, but you may be thinking, wow, I've just had the most amazing time of my life. I'm head over heels about this girl. She's amazing. She ticks all my boxes. I can put up with her being late and eating all that kind of stuff. That's irrelevant to me. But I've got to go home, and I don't want to go home, but I have to because I've got to go back to work. Well, you know what's coming now. Emotionally, you are now attached. And you're now in this situation where you've got to do the roll the dice. Option one, well, thank you very much, darling. It's been fantastic. Let's stay in touch. And when I come back out here again, I'll hit you up and let's keep in touch. That ain't going to happen, guys, all right? That's just not going to happen. You're going to get at least maybe, I would say maybe 1 or 2 days before there is some kind of tragedy where you need to, can you please send me some money to help me out? So let's just be honest, guys, that ain't going to happen. Option number two is you're now going to be presented with a situation where you think, I need to take her out of the said bar and I want her to go home and I want her to spend time with her family, and I will financially support her in order for her to do that. Listen, I'm no expert. I have no right to say anything about what you should or shouldn't do. All I can tell you is based on my experience, and I've only been here 10 years, so I'm only a newbie myself. But having seen people and watched people, even people that have been here on the buzzing side of things that have joined us, fell in love and started sending money and it's all gone pear-shaped, it generally speaking really doesn't work out very often. I'm not saying it never works out, I'm just saying generally speaking it very rarely happens. And what then becomes a problem is, you know, jealousy creeps in again, because when you go home, you send her the money and then you call her and she doesn't answer. The fear and the emotions that run through your mind are incredible. What's she doing? Where is she? Why isn't she answering me? I don't understand. And you'll keep calling and you'll keep calling. And then she's going to be the other side going, oh God, I was having a shower. He's rung me like 50 times. Like, what's his problem? And all of these horrible situations start arriving. And mentally, it's the worst thing in the world because you can't actually do anything about it other than get back on an airplane and fly back over. And let's be honest, that just isn't practical, nor is it a reality. So now you're in a situation where you've decided to sponsor her and things may be appearing to go wrong. So what do you do, guys? And the other side of the coin is, how much do you send her? You know, it's all well and good having a holiday and flashing the cash, and fair play to you guys. You know, you work very, very hard to get your money together. So why shouldn't you come out here and have an incredible time? It's your money, your holiday, your fun. But remember what picture you've just painted to that girl now. So she's seeing this guy, he's come over, he's taken her out the bar, you've had 7 days or 10 days or more worth of fun. You've been paying for everything, you've been throwing the cash around like it's confetti, and then suddenly you're approaching the situation where you've got to sit there and say, right, sweetheart, I don't want you to go back in the bar, but I don't know how much to give you because I don't really earn as much as I've been flashing the cash here, so I've got to be a bit careful. And that makes sense to you. But to her, she's thinking, well, no, hang on, like, why are you not be able to send me like 20,000 baht a month, 10,000 baht, whatever it is you agree. So again, you're now in that position where financially as well as emotionally, you've got to make a horrible decision as to what you do. And I've seen some terrible decisions made over the years. So, as I say, guys, you know, when you come out here, listen, you've come to probably the world's biggest adult playground that you'll ever likely to find. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's emotional, it's a roller coaster ride. It really is everything that you could possibly imagine and more. All I would say to you is this, guys. If you do come over here, if you do find somebody that perhaps ticks all your boxes, please just take your time. Maybe spend a day, go off for a couple of days, go back and spend another day, go off for a couple of days, and just edge your way in. There is nothing worse than jumping into the deep end and realizing that you can't swim. Because trust me, as we all know, you're going to drown. And you may drown emotionally, you may drown financially. You know, it's going to be a roller coaster ride of all kinds of descriptions. So please, guys, you know, take your time, try and keep yourself a step away from what you perceive to be the real world, and just realize this is business. This really is business. And if there's no other advice I can give anybody, it is the one thing to remember, and that is that ultimately, at the initial outset, this is business. And as long as you can grasp that, as long as you can hold on to that fact, the chances are you've got a decent chance of surviving what is an absolute lion's den here. So there you go. So guys, just very, very quickly, you know, if you do decide to take her, remember, you know, you might find she sleeps all the time, you might find she wants to eat all the time, she might be late, they won't make a decision, you know, you're going to get bored. Likewise, jealousy. You know, if you do start to go out and see people and you walk into bars and a girl comes up and says hello, your newfound love may start to get very jealous. So be very, very careful about that. You're going to pay for everything, you know, that's a given. You are going to pay. So make sure that financially you're able to take her away and provide the kind of living that you expect on a holiday. Make sure if you do pay for everything, remind yourself if you don't, you might find she's got stomach cramps, you might have a headache, and, you know, need I say anymore, you might have regrets. You know, you walk into a bar and you see another girl and think, oh man, what am I doing? Like, what have I done that? And you're now so deep in, you can't just take the exit door. And breakups. It's emotional, guys. You know, you're human, they're human, we're all human. We all have emotions, we all have feelings. You're playing with them. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening. Please, guys, if you can share any comments, any experiences, it would be muchly appreciated. You know, that's what makes our channel so great, is people like yourself drop in these comments and say, oh, I did this, I did that. And if someone does say, look, I did this and it went tits up, please, guys, be respectful for each other. Don't start hammering them. We all make mistakes, myself included. I've told you about when I first came here, I did exactly what I've just told you not to do. And trust me, I live to pay for it and tell the tale. So there you go. All right, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always. Please remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. If you haven't already, please jump onto Discord. It really is fantastic. Over 11,300 members now. We've got so many different chat rooms, all kinds of advice and information. There's photos, videos, there's, you name it, it's in there. Go and have a look. It's completely free, doesn't cost you a single penny, but it could save you a fortune if you're in this situation and you need someone to put their arm around and say, hey mate, have a reality check. And also, if you'd like to support the channel and the work that I do here, there is a link in the description below to our members area. I think membership starts from as little as 89 pence per month, and all your support is muchly appreciated. All right, that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and please, as always, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.